Hello, Internet, and welcome to Say Report Jr. I am one of your hosts, Zach Sarowick, and
And I am your other host, Dale Decker.
yes!
Yeah, we
Oh
did
my
it!
God, we are one
Feels
away
good!
from 10 episodes, and we finally figured it out.
At a
We'll screw it up next.
normal-ish.
We're gonna screw it up so hard next week.
I know, just because it is the big 1-0.
Yep. Oh man. Welcome everybody. This, like I said, this is Say Report Jr. This is where two friends, Dale and I, have never met, so we record our conversations for a podcast, get to know each other, and hopefully get to know our audience as well. And so, that being said, we're gonna jump right into it because I think Dale has a lot to say this week.
I've semi a lot to say. I have
um,
I've acquired a lot of opinions within the past week.
so, without further ado, Dale, what did you do this week?
I saw a couple of movies. I saw in order. This is what I saw: Book Club, which I don't know if you know what that is.
I've never
But
heard of it.
okay, so I will explain. Book Club, Deadpool 2, and then I saw I Feel Pretty as my third movie.
Oh, that's a weird sandwich. It's a
Right?
weird sandwich you ate this week.
Right? Okay, so I'll get Book Club out of the way. Book Club was a movie that has a lot of very big famous women who one of which is Jane Fonda. So, and it's a group of close female friends who have grown up together. They met in met in college, I believe, and they've grown up and they started doing a book club because it was the thing to do, and that was their hangout kind of every
All right.
month was a book club.
That was their Say Report Junior.
Exactly. um, so finally, they're getting older, and I think one of them is divorced. Another one, her husband died. Another one can't really find, is also divorced and can't really get back on the horse. And then another one is married, but they're no longer having sex with each other because they're older and this stuff. And
Because movies,
yeah,
and that's what happens in movies.
exactly. So long story short, they basically read 50 Shades of Grey as their book club book for the month, and it awakening their sexual prowess, let's say. So
Can I
they
just
start.
hold on?
So they
This
start to,
was the book like was there any possibility that they were reading some really badly titled knockoff of 50 Shades
no,
of Grey?
no, they were reading 50 Shades of
Damn.
Grey.
Oh, they were
like,
just reading 50 Shades of Grey.
like
Damn it.
legitimately
That's
reading 50
that's
Shades of
great.
Grey.
Oh my God. I was really hoping
Yeah,
it would just be like some terrible knockoff
no,
of it or something, but no, they're just
no, it's
reading it.
actually 50 Shades of Grey. Um, and it's so good. That movie is so good. It's very cute, and it's lighthearted. It's funny. And I would recommend it to anyone to go see it because it was very pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised. And then I saw Deadpool. I want to save Deadpool for after I talk about I Feel Pretty because I Feel Pretty is a
as a
negative
palate as
review.
a palate cleanser.
Yeah,
You
and
talk
and
about- okay.
Deadpool isn't negative per se. It's like kind of a mixture, but it's more
All right.
positive than negative. So
All right.
so so I saw I Feel Pretty um with one of my friends. And I don't really enjoy Amy Schumer's comedy. I don't really like Amy Schumer. I'm just going to say it. I don't know how you feel about her.
I go back and forth. I nothing Amy Schumer because I
Yeah,
just
okay.
don't think about her. Like if that's the best way to do it. Like I
I
had
hear you.
watched a little bit of her show before, fell off of it. Don't really go out of my way to care about other
Okay.
stuff she's doing. So
Yeah,
yeah.
when Trainwreck came out, I'm like, I'm not gonna go see it because it's gonna be very difficult for me to go into it with an open mind. I know John Cena is in it, but I love John Cena, and it's not gonna make it better.
Somehow the
Um,
only thing I know about that movie is that John
is
Cena
that
at
John?
some point gets naked. That's the only
Yes.
thing I know about that
Yeah.
movie, which is
Yeah.
the weird thing.
Yeah. Like, and I'm like, I can't bring myself to go see Trainwreck. this same thing with this movie. I'm like, I'm not gonna go see it because again, I'm not gonna go in with an open mind. It's just not gonna happen. It's not really fair to the movie. It's not fair for me to waste my time on a movie that I know I'm gonna hate. But my friend asked me for his birthday if we could go see it, and I was like, fine, fine. I will be a good friend, and I will indulge and go see this movie with you. And we get there, and he's like, "You ready?" I'm like, "Okay, I will try my hardest to go into this with an open mind. I will." And it starts up, and the I don't. Do you care if I spoil this movie for you?
Absolutely not.
Thank God.
Not at
Okay.
all.
Spoilers for I Feel Pretty. If you
I
haven't
mean,
already, it's been out for like 2 months or something. It's
yeah, I
been
mean
out for
the
like a
short version,
month.
the short version from a personal standpoint, I don't really care about spoilers on almost anything.
Oh, okay,
There's
good,
like one or
sweet.
two movies that will ever come out that I'll like, don't tell me
Don't
the ending. Otherwise,
yeah.
I don't care. I'm gonna enjoy the movie either way.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay, sweet.
yeah.
That is good to know. I am opposite. Anyways,
Oh, very good to know.
yeah, right. Um, so it starts out. She goes. She's going. It starts out with a great song. First of all, I just remember being super happy with the song choice. So I'm like, this is a good start. Then it's her in a cycling class, and she's like looking around at all the like skinny girls and blah blah blah, and she has to go up and for the cycling class you get special shoes.
For a cycling
And
class show and tell for
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. So you have these special shoes, and she's like embarrassed to say her shoe size, which is 9.5, which is my shoe size, and I'm like, I'm not embarrassed by that at all. Like it's my shoe
that's
size.
that's also like,
Whatever.
I mean, I don't know how tall she is, but like my shoe size is between 9.5 and 10, depending on the brand.
Yeah, same.
So that's
Yeah,
only
me
one.
too.
And if I think I have this right. I'm pretty certain that like if you just add two to whatever the woman's shoe size is, that's the men's shoe. I might be
I
going
bel
backwards on that.
um,
Something like that.
I think
But like
it's
that's a fairly
negative.
average
Yeah.
shoe size,
Yes.
is the thing. That's a fairly
So,
average, perfectly normal shoe size.
yeah. So it starts out with that, and I'm like, that's weird. Okay, let's continue. And then she's in the cycling class. She meets a very attractive, typically beautiful woman who is also at the cycling class, and she is the nicest person that we've met so far in this world of cycling. She's very down to earth. She's very kind-hearted person. And they kind of get like a mini friendship in the cycling class. Then we get into the cycling class, and Amy Schumer gets on a bike, and they start to do the exercise, and she breaks the bike. That is a joke that I have a problem with. A, because Amy Schumer is not grotesque. She is not like huge to be breaking that bike. Even when that joke is in movies like Shallow Hal.
Right. That's the big comparison that I kept seeing with
Yeah.
this. That
So
was the one that a lot of people went back to. Is just like, oh,
exactly.
great, it's Shallow Hal again. We didn't need that. Was like that
Exactly.
was basically what I heard. So
But when I think her name is Rosemary in Shallow Hal, when she breaks the chair in the diner or whatever,
right.
I get why it's there, but it's not funny. Like that joke is not funny to me because it's just like you're going a little too over it, guys. But it's especially not funny when someone who isn't really big breaks something.
Right. What that says more to me is like, oh,
Like,
this was like that belongs in like a slapstick comedy of, oh, look, the bike was built poorly. Like
yes,
that's
yeah,
what that joke
exactly.
reads to me. It doesn't have anything to do with the person sitting on the bike.
Hmm.
It has to do with whoever put the bike together. It's like,
Yeah, and I don't. I
oh.
it at least to me it seems like she breaks the bike. It could have just been
No,
like
no,
it
no.
wasn't tightened enough, or
No,
and it
here's the
just
thing.
went
I
down.
think you're right.
But
I mean, you saw the movie. I think that's what the movie's going for. I'm saying that that's
yeah,
not how you write a like
no,
the breaking joke
no,
anymore, especially in 2018. Everybody,
yeah.
like Shallow Hal was like almost 20 years ago at this point.
I
Like it was early
believe so.
2000s.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like we're past that
yeah.
joke.
Seriously. So it happens, and I'm like, all right. and you just lost the point for me. And then she's walking out. She ripped her leggings, whatever. Um, and then it goes on, and her friends are signing up for this online dating site called Groupies, and she goes into a whole speech about how, oh, it's only the picture matters, and blah, 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 and blah, and blah. And then she hits her head, loses her, like, I don't even know if it's self-awareness, but, like, she hits her head, starts to see herself as beautiful. But the only thing that changes is that she gains confidence because she thinks she's beautiful. So the whole movie, I'm like, this is really upsetting because like I said, the only thing that changes is confidence, right?
Right.
But it's not that, it's a fake confidence. So it's almost a self-deprecating confidence that is just very uncomfortable. You know?
Yeah, is it at all clear in the movie? Because I think this is what was confusing as I was hearing people talk about it. Is it at all clear in the movie? Is she seeing herself differently, or is she just not caring about what she was seeing before?
No.
You
She
know,
is physically seeing herself differently.
okay,
But
that's
we
ugh.
but in Shallow Hal, where you see what Hal sees, we never see what she sees. You know? So
So she really comes off like just as delusional. Really, is
exactly.
that?
So
Oh
it's like,
man.
it's really upsetting because the whole movie is, it's like harping on this beauty thing. It's like, oh, I'm beautiful, now I'm confident. But it's not that the confidence is
Right.
not what
So it's not
matters, it's the
okay.
beauty.
Right. Okay. Now, okay. Yes. Now
Yes.
I'm understanding. Ugh.
So that, right, that's a problem. Right? At least this is my interpretation of the movie. That is a problem to me because, and hold on. So before that, this whole movie, she's also very shallow. She is a shallow person. And it starts when they're making the profile for that groupie website or whatever.
Right.
That is what it's called. She works for a makeup company. So she works for a beauty company in like an office in the bottom of a Chinese food restaurant, right? So she gets to bring home like all the defective makeup that people don't use or don't want or anything, and she's in her apartment making over one of her best friends. And her best friend, she finishes, and her best friend Viv is like, I think she's like doing a smoky eye or whatever, making her try to look like Selena Gomez, something like that. And her best friend makes a point of saying, it's a little much. Like, this isn't me. This isn't what I look like. And Amy Schumer's character, who is Renee, goes, well, yeah, no crap, it's not what you look like. I made you look better. And I'm like, oh,
Ugh.
this is a problem
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
And
And that is
we're
no.
10 minutes in.
Yeah. And that's no shade on people that like to wear makeup. Like there's a whole
Exactly.
the whole
No,
idea of
no,
makeup
no.
should be to help you look the way that you are most comfortable looking. Like that is what makeup is best
Exactly.
used for.
What I have
And
been...
however you are comfortable looking, makeup helps you do that. And
Exactly.
like that's no one should ever be shamed for that.
How I should am describing it is that makeup is an additive but not a necessity.
Right.
Like, you don't
Yeah.
need makeup in order to live. There are people out there who believe that they do, and I'm not like trying to slander on that or anything, but it's an additive. You shouldn't need it to live everyday life, you know?
No.
Like, I don't wear makeup. I have, because people are like, I want to do your makeup. And it's like, fine, whatever. I'll wear makeup for a night.
I have friends that
Not
keep
gonna
telling me they're
do
gonna.
it.
I have friends that keep telling me they insist they want to do my makeup and never have. It's very annoying because it's like gets me very excited and never happens. Especially because
It's,
I want to force them to work around my beard and figure out how that
how
works.
that's gonna work. They gotta put the glitter in. I've seen that.
That's
That's
probably
like the
exactly what would happen.
best thing.
Ugh.
But yeah, like, and I've had friends be like, "Oh, I want to do your makeup," and I let them, because it's not like I'm against makeup, But in the movie, it's like, oh, you need makeup to be beautiful. And it's like, no, you don't. Because you don't. So it continues on, and then she, like I said, she hits her head, and she gets that confidence because she thinks she's beautiful. And it's continuing. She applies to work as the receptionist at the like headquarters of the makeup company. She ends up getting the job because of how she looks normally, because they're trying to start to do a diffusion line, which I don't know if you know what a diffusion line is, but
I assume more natural looking
no.
kind of thing. No.
It's
Oh God,
it's
damn.
it's for well kind of, but it's for quote unquote average women who are either intimidated by big high end makeup um like shops or anything, or don't
Okay.
can't
Yeah.
afford the high end stuff, or they're not, your typical skinny supermodel woman. Like,
So so
that's what it's
fancy.
called.
So a fancy word for normal.
Yeah.
It's like
Right, yeah.
okay.
So like
Sorry, I shouldn't say that. If you like makeup, it's not that you're abnormal. That was mean of me. It's just like it was just like a
um
like,
but
anyway.
like that's why she gets her job. It's because of, you know, they're like, "Oh, we should hire," cuz she kind of explains that like they see her and they're like, "This is the perfect face for our diffusion line." But she thinks she's getting the job because she's suddenly beautiful and hot and skinny, you know? When it's really kind of like,
So it's
we need this average person to be the
so
face
it's
of
not
our
even like
company now
it's not even like
because
the
we need
movie
to
is
sell
saying
stuff.
yeah, it's not even like the movie is saying look at this woman who clearly has wrong ideas about things and look how shallow she is up against these perfectly average people who are like no, we just want a down to earth normal person to be our secretary or
No.
anything. It's like no, they're also judging her, so
Yeah.
it's just like it's just
In the
judgment
beginning.
two directions.
Yes. In the beginning, it's definitely they're judging her. But then people grow to like her because, again, she has that confidence, which is a fake. Like, it's not real confidence coming from her, you know? Yeah. It's like what's it called? Not a delusion, an illusion type confidence, which I don't think that has ever been said before. But
It makes sense though. I know what you mean. Like it's confidence
yeah.
coming from it's like false confidence. I mean, it's
Yeah.
coming from a place where completely. I mean, I'm assuming at some point the movie turns and she stops seeing herself this way, and the
Exactly.
confidence starts to go away again.
It
Like I'm assuming
instantly.
instantly.
Instantly it's gone. She
Okay.
yeah, she hits her head again and sees herself in a mirror and is like, "No, I." And she's about to give a presentation on the new diffusion line. She's like, "I can't give the presentation. I'm not doing this. No one will recognize me." She thinks that people can't recognize her anymore because she's no longer beautiful, because she no longer is seeing herself as that skinny beautiful person. So she's like, "How do you?" There's one guy who she used to work with in the basement, and he's like, "Hey, Renee, you got to do this." And she's like, "How can you even recognize me?" And it's like, "Oh my god, this is just getting worse." Um,
Man.
but throughout, like,
Oh.
the um one of the owners, she's the daughter of the founder of the company. The company is called Lily LeClaire. The granddaughter, her name is Avery. She starts to become friends with Renee, Amy Schumer's character, again. And we kind of start learning that it's the opposite with Avery. Like, she's only beautiful because of, well, not really. Like, she's she's actually a kind person. She doesn't seem that way in the beginning, but when you start to get to know her throughout the film, she's actually I think she's a nice person. But she doesn't really have confidence in herself to be able to sell this new line. She has a very high pitched voice. It's Michelle Williams who plays her. She has a very high pitched voice, so she's like, I can't present anything with this voice. Nobody will take me seriously. So she's beautiful kind of because she has the makeup and the job and the clothes. Like, she's like just like a shy of that confidence, you know?
All right.
So it also shows the flip side which is kind of cool. And like those are the characters I actually like more and sympathize with more because it's like you have it, you just need to get that confidence. Hopefully this girl who has false confidence is going to help you, and in a way she does, but it's still at the very end of the movie when she gives her big speech when she finds out that she's been herself this entire time. I don't remember her ever mentioning the word confidence, which is like you missed your point. You missed your opportunity to make this something worthwhile. And if it does mention confidence, then I apologize, but I really don't think it does. I think it just wholly like
It like
stays.
assumes that you're going to understand where the confidence is coming from and
Yeah,
where like
but
yeah.
yeah, and like her entire speech is about beauty and being like every woman should feel beautiful and blah blah blah, even with these kind of products. And it's like you're still selling makeup. Like at the end of the day, you're selling makeup,
And more
which
importantly, it sounds like your
which
sales
is
pitch is yes, we're selling you cheaper crap, but don't worry, it still works okay.
yeah.
Like
And it's like we're selling it to the quote unquote normal people and the average people. Because, yeah, I want to hear that I'm average. Like, come on. Come on. It's just, there's another line where, and it's like, I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but Amy Schumer is not an ugly person. She is not she's bigger, I guess, but she's not fat. Like she's kind of pretty, you know? Like she is pretty. I think, you know?
yeah, I mean you're not wrong. I mean I've again never thought one way or the other about the woman, but it's got nothing to do with the way she looks.
Yeah, no, but
But like, right, it's like, and this actually came up like after Trainwreck, and it was like a whole thing where people were like giving all these interviews to her and doing all these articles about how Amy Schumer is not traditionally beautiful for a leading lady. It's like, what the hell are you talking
yeah,
about?
like why are we
It's like,
but I don't
like
know.
one, why does that matter? And two, like, there's in like no wonder there's like serious body image issues with young women in
Yes.
this country that these
Yes.
are the articles that come out when Amy Schumer leads a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. It's just that
ugh.
the movie left me very ugh. Like you missed your opportunity to make this meaningful. And yeah. Like
That's unfortunate.
it
That
was
is
very cuz like I said, I was very ready to watch it. I like psyched myself up to watch it. So I was excited to see it and there were no trailers, so the movie just started, which is great when that's the kind of movie you're about to see. You know? And like I said,
because you don't want to accidentally be distracted by
yeah,
another movie you might want to see more.
exactly. The soundtrack was great. I will say there were some really good jokes in it. A lot didn't come from Amy Schumer. Some did. But and there was a really nice scene where she gets a boyfriend. Rory Scovel becomes her boyfriend in the movie. There's a scene where they're supposed to have dinner and it's after she the quote unquote magic is gone. That's what she says. And she goes to the place that they're gonna meet for dinner, and she sees him, and she starts hiding away from him and avoiding him. And he notices that she's there, and she texts him and is like, "I'm not gonna make it for dinner," and he's all confused. So he walks up to her and starts joking around with her, but he knows that it's Renee, but she doesn't know that he knows it's Renee. Cause it's like, oh, because she thinks that he is seeing
Is seeing someone else
someone
entirely.
else
Right.
entirely that he felt than the person that he initially met. But so that scene is actually done very well. I like from a directing, the whole scene setup. That scene was done beautifully. I will give it its credit. But overall, that movie just left me feeling ugh.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to hear before we move
Yeah.
on to Deadpool? We could do one very positive makeup story real quick,
Yeah.
actually, that just came out earlier today. I was seeing on Twitter. Sephora, one of those high-end places that
Mhm.
doesn't sell to normal people, quote unquote, is actually doing, I guess, some sort of like free class or workshop for transgender women to
Oh,
learn how to like do their makeup and like help them figure out again that look that makes them feel comfortable
yes.
as who they are and stuff. And it just made me laugh hearing you tell that story. And I was like, oh, Sephora, who's considered like the high end people, where like
Yeah.
the joke is that people will go into Sephora to use their free samples and run away because they're too expensive. And
Yep.
like they're putting in that effort.
Yeah.
And then this movie,
Yeah. It just
uh,
it really it should have been focusing on confidence, and it focused on beauty.
it focused on
Like
like
the
it focused on the
wrong
idea that the
kind of beauty.
confidence, yeah, that the confidence is coming from an external source
Yeah.
rather than an internal
Because
like belief in yourself.
yeah, and
Yeah.
ultimately confidence is what's beautiful or handsome in people in a way, you know? Like you don't there's a scene where the woman from the beginning, I don't think she had a name in the movie. I cannot put a pin onto what her name was in the movie, and I really don't think it was ever mentioned. But the woman that she was like being friends with at the near the end of the movie, her boyfriend breaks up with her, and she again has a lack of confidence, but she's like this beautiful woman. And Amy Schumer's character is like, I just want to punch you in the face. Like, how can you have this self-esteem? And it's like, well, there are people who don't have self-esteem. It's not just you. Like,
And there's other things going on in
and
people's lives other than
exactly.
am I pretty?
And it's unfortunate that the reason the boyfriend probably broke up with that girl is that lack of confidence. Because you can be beautiful and be like just a very sad person. Not I'm not like this is coming out bad, but I'm saying in character world of the movie, like, but you don't have that confidence to back up your beauty. So it's like, I don't know. That probably just made me sound like an asshole.
I don't think no. They've got 20 minutes before this of lead up, so they'll understand.
But it's
Uh,
just like I'm saying in the movie, the guy was probably like, "Yeah, you're beautiful and all, but you're not confident in yourself, and I can't continually be like, no, you're pretty,' and but I don't know.
being
It's
the one that
just
like shores you up and being the one that puts in
exactly,
all the effort to
yeah,
make you feel yeah, yeah.
yeah. So, but
Uh,
yeah, um,
so how was Deadpool 2?
so Deadpool 2. I do have something to say about Funko Pops
Oh, that's
before I
right. You
get
did
into
say that.
it's funny
Okay.
before I get into Deadpool. It would be a good lead into Deadpool, I think. So, Funko Pops, you've heard of them, you've seen them.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken over the world. I have a few. I have quite a few. I am not an insane collector. I'm not this person who collects and goes out and needs every single one. I only buy ones of characters that I like. Um, and I follow the Instagram page because it's entertaining. So
That's fair. I've
they
got a
have.
little Geordie LaForge and ironically a Deadpool
Hey,
one
there you go.
actually. So there you go.
So there's a pop a day or a photo a day challenge going on now, where it has different topics for each day, and you take a picture of the pops that fit the topic.
Okay.
The third day in was your favorite villain. Apparently, I don't follow it that closely, but the third day in was favorite villain. And they did like did a video of all the people who were entered into the contest, and I watched the video, and a picture of Wally shows up, like the little robot, and then it's continuing, and I'm like, well, that's
uh,
strange.
it I
Wally's not a villain. And
that
so
depends.
it
That
continues.
depends.
Wait. It gets better. So then it continues, and it shows Hercules from Sandlot, the dog.
Oh, that's not a villain. He's just a dog. He doesn't know any better.
Yeah, so I see that, and I'm like, this is weird. And I took screenshots. And then I went to the individual people's, like, what's it called, profile, to see what they wrote about the particular picture. Wally was not technically entered into the villain quota of
Ah.
So I think it was a mistake on Funko's part, which is equally as fantastic.
Because you know that's like there's like one intern sitting at the desk all
Yeah,
day, like, okay, we have to string all this stuff together and just not reading the hashtags as they put it all together.
exactly. Yeah, so it never got hashtag photo a day. It never got hashtag like favorite villain or anything like that. The one that did was Ursula. So they missed something. But I went to the person who did the Beast, and they were like, easily my favorite villain. And I'm like, but no, he's just a dog. Like, he's doing what dogs do.
There's like a whole scene with James Earl Jones that teaches you why Hercules is not the bad guy in
Exactly.
Sandlot.
Oh my god.
Ugh.
Why is villain a villain? Why is
Why is villain?
Wally why is Wally a
Okay,
villain?
so follow my logic here for a second.
Oh god.
Now, it's been a while since I've seen Wally, so first I'm gonna ask this really quick. The robot, the HAL 2001: A Space Odyssey robot that's controlling the human ship, he's not actually gonna do anything to the humans, if I remember correctly, right? He's just basically controlling them like cattle running through their place.
Well,
Just was he ever going to do anything to them other
it's
than just
I don't think
let
so.
them live out their lives? Yeah. Okay.
It's funny
That is
you
why.
mentioned that because Wally was literally just on my TV before
Okay.
we started recording
Perfect.
because it was on the movie channels, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch it.
Because here's the thing. Wally basically takes them from a life of complete pampering and luxury.
Yep.
Yes, they're all kind of like blobby people in a chair just kind of floating, but they're tended to day and night for essentially ever, from the sounds of it. And Wally basically just is like, no, you need to struggle here on this earth with this little plant I have and be humans again.
No.
because the life you're living of luxury and pampering is just not human life. That's
But
not
it's
what
not
humans do. Humans have
healthy.
to. It's not health. They don't need to be healthy.
But
They're living a
gonna
life in which
die.
their health is not important.
I
We
forgot.
don't have any like indication that they're not like having more little babies. Like we don't know
Well,
that they're not
actually, there
procreating.
are babies.
Okay,
And
there we
it's one
go.
of
Which
the
means that it's not like
weirdest
humans are gonna.
scenes.
It's not like humans are gonna go extinct.
Well,
They're clearly keeping going.
maybe those babies are it. Maybe they're the last resort.
We don't know, but that's just it. Wally clearly took them from their space palace to dusty old cubic little Earth that's full of dirt and nothing else. One plant. He grew one plant and decided that meant
He didn't grow
everybody.
it, he found it.
Even better. But like he's decided that means, oh yeah, now humans can come back here because I grew a leaf.
There's like 4, okay? it's good. Now I gotta watch it and see if the bad guy
Yeah,
is
like I
gonna
need to know if the
actually kill
plan.
them.
Yeah, I need to know if the quote unquote evil robot was going to do anything, or if it was just like, oh, I'm controlling the humans by feeding them and letting them do whatever they want.
But
Like,
they don't do whatever they want. They just fly around on chairs all day and talk into Skype.
okay, and
They're basically us, but we have the ability
Actually-
to walk around.
that just goes back. There's an original series Star Trek episode, and this is great because now we're just going to end on Deadpool because I'm going to go into this first. The original series Star Trek episode called "This Side of Paradise," in which Spock goes down onto a planet and gets hit with these little spores and basically becomes a hippie. Basically joins like a hippie
Nice.
commune, and it's the same kind of thing. These like spores are like their whole idea of procreating is that these people pretty much live a luxurious life and then just keep growing the plant that the spores then use to get more people to just grow more plants. And like Kirk sees this and is like, no, 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 no. I don't care that you're happy. I don't care that you're living a perfectly symbiotic life with this plant. You're not building things and selling stuff. And therefore, this is wrong. And like rips Spock away from what is essentially a paradise
Oh my
of
God.
doing absolutely nothing all day and just living out his hippie love styles. And it's like that's what I think of when I watch Wally, is that Wally comes in like Captain Kirk, like this isn't capitalist enough. I don't like this. You're
Well,
not
it's
building things. You're not thriving.
Well, it's like Wally's main objective is like to get
Is to-
Eve. Is to get
I guess
Eve
that's-
to love him. He's
Which
not-
is
he
also
doesn't
against
care
his
about
own
the plant.
programming. I was like, well, you know what? For a second there, he is technically programmed to do what he's doing. He's cleaning up the planet so that humans can come back. So
Exactly.
maybe I shouldn't blame Wally and his programming. But like, I would say that I don't think that the quote unquote evil robot or the evil computer in Wally is really evil. I think they're all just doing what they're programmed to do. But I guess I just went back on my whole point. Maybe Wally's not a villain.
Here's
He's
the thing.
programmed badly.
If you he's yeah, but then we could get into something else that I don't think we
I'm
should
just
get into.
I'm
But
just programmed
anyways,
that way.
ended at that. No, but
uh,
if you want to use your point, here, I'm gonna give you a freebie.
uh,
If you want to use it, like Eve, well, she's programmed that way too. Eve, the like robot that Wally falls in love with, it's her job to go onto Earth and find plant life. Like, that is her job. That is what
Apparently,
she does.
we're all just doing
And
what we're
so,
programmed to do.
here's my question. If the quote unquote evil robot, it's like the captain wheel, right? If he truly wanted them to stay on the ship, why would you, like, dude, you probably have the ability to stop the Eve robots from going to Earth to find grass. Like, you probably somewhere have that ability. You are the captain wheel.
Oh man, are
So
we just discovering that there's just plot holes in Wally? Maybe that's the problem.
I don't want to because I really love Wally. It's a very cute. It's such a cute movie about robot love.
A little GameCube fell in love with an iPod.
Exactly. I also have, there's a tweet that I tweeted. Oh, Devin tweeted it. We were driving somewhere, and like 5 minutes into the drive, we started talking about Wally, and I admitted that I was Wally because because of like he's a little bit of a hoarder. He likes old movies. he, he that's about it. That's oh
I mean,
he's a little
he's a
clumsy.
hipster.
He's
He's a little hipster, and so really, I think we all fall into the Wally camp a little bit
well,
more.
yeah. He even has the little hipster glasses that aren't hipster glasses anymore.
No, they're fake. They don't have lenses in them. I mean, it's just his
He
eyes.
has lenses. It's just his eye. I love Wally. I don't care. Can't bring me down. Can't bring me
uh,
down. Wally's the best. He's also Jesus robot. I mean, robot Jesus.
Jesus robot.
He's also robot Jesus. Anyways, so yeah, so
Uh,
that was my fun Funko little thing.
that was apparently my secret, very passionate feelings about Wally that I didn't
Yeah,
know I
you
had.
know, we're discovering things.
Uh,
Oh my god, that's fantastic. I somehow knew you were gonna say that Wally was a villain.
like I could figure like give me a minute. I can BS some things and make this work.
I mean, you can BS anything. I can BS that the shark is not a villain in Jaws.
Oh no.
He's just a shark.
That's true.
Except for in
Until you get
Jaws,
to
Jaws the Revenge. Then
I was
it's
gonna say,
then
is
it's a
that
shark who
four?
is a villain.
Is that 2 or 4? Because 4, I think.
I think it's 4. I think it's
Yeah, because the
fourth one.
novelization. The thing is, in the novelization of that, you actually get to read like thoughts that the shark is having. Like it's
That is
great.
amazing.
It goes buck wild with the idea that the shark has like motive.
Oh my god, I love it. That's fantastic.
Uh,
Oh my god. Anyways, so yeah.
anyways,
So we could either go into Deadpool or you could talk about Mad Max.
I mean, the short thing with Mad Max is that I'm still playing it. I'm down to like the last bit of it. I'll probably finish it in the next like day or two. I also just like can't stop. I know that like last week I probably seemed it fairly seemed strange that I was playing this game so much with how much I like re-listened to the episode and I was like, it doesn't sound like I'm enjoying this, and yet I can't stop. Um, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, and this happens with a lot of games, and especially open world games. Is it's just like it's very easy to focus on, like I said last week, the kind of boring bits in between where you're just kind of cycling through the checklist of things that they give you to do.
Yeah.
But a couple of things happened. One, I discovered the photo mode, which was enough to just I
Oh,
love that. So so
yes.
just like I got stuff blowing up. I'm taking pictures of my flying off of cliffs. Oh God, it's great. I'm like I've got I'll put them up on Twitter at some
Oh,
point.
beautiful.
I'll link the PS
Beautiful.
Twitter and put them up. That like the photo mode spot on. And then just like I got into like the second areas, like the part where the game started to drag. I got into the second half of the game and the second half of the map, and the landscape changed so much that it was like, oh, thank God, I'm doing something new all of a sudden. Like the way you take down most of the, there's camps and just like there's the bandit camps in
Yep.
Horizon,
Okay.
and it's those are pretty much similar. You go in, you sneak in, you kill all the guys, you take out oil wells or tanks of this or that and blow them up, and that's it.
I have
But
a
you hit
question.
one, yes.
How does Mad Max sneak?
He
How does
doesn't.
Max sneak?
Oh, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's no stealth in this game
Okay.
whatsoever. You
Good.
just walk into a room. Um, you walk into like a little area that's basically an arena, and a bunch of guys come at you, and you just beat them up until they're all gone. Uh, the best thing about that is sometimes you walk in, and just like the guy in Fury Road that's like attached to the giant amps and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
they have a guy like that. They're called war criers. So the idea with them is that if you don't take them out fast enough, they'll buff all of the other fighters around, and they're just hanging over you, beating on a drum
Oh
the whole
god.
time,
Oh
which
my
is really
god.
cool. And if you leave them alive, you kill all the guys around you. If you stop really quick, you can hear him talking to you, which is great. Because I was like one of the very first camps, and the first time I played the game, I did not catch this. I never caught this before, and I go into the camp. I killed like because it's early on, so it's still kind of easy. Killed like the three guys. It's not like 10 coming at you. Killed the three guys. The war crier still hanging up there, and he's like, "So about all that stuff I was saying about killing you, we don't that's not a problem, right? You're not gonna do anything." And then I just shot him, and he blew up. So
Nice.
it's
That's
like the fact
amazing.
that he was like having conversation with you, just hanging there. Because after you kill all the guys, there's nothing for him to do. He's just kind of dangling over the ground. So
That's detail that is
it's
so
like that's
appreciated.
yeah, like that's what I meant by like there's 1,000 little detailed things in this game I love, and I just wish they connected better because stuff like that is freaking fantastic. Then I get into the last region, and so the way that they have you do this camp is that instead of like going into an area and killing a bunch of guys, like they've got two smaller camps like that, but then the rest of it is just taking the car and driving around this giant like oil slick blowing stuff up while they're like shooting stuff at you. So there's so much more like defensive crap just shooting at you than there is in a usual camp. And I just realized like halfway through, I'm like, man, I'm having so much fun just like driving my car in a circle, blowing things up and shooting this. And I have to dive out of my car to get health back. And the car's about to blow up. So I've got to abandon that for 5 minutes for a minute while that gets repaired.
That's
And all of a sudden I'm like, oh,
fantastic.
I'm having so much more fun now than I was like just like 2 days ago doing like the same thing over and over. And I was like, this is what I wanted from this game the whole time. And so I was like, okay, I made that turn. And I think I made the turn the first time and I just forgot about that.
Mm.
It was just like, oh, I've made this turn now where this is just way more exciting. This is way more exciting for me.
That's perfect.
So
Good. Well, I'm
yeah,
glad that you found excitement in it. Like
yeah,
it's not it's a little bit more bearable now.
right. Absolutely. It's just like, oh, they changed. All it took was like a change of landscape. It just changed things up a little bit, just a little bit. And that's all you need.
Awesome.
Uh,
That's good. Good. I'm glad. All right. So, you have not seen Deadpool, right?
I have not.
You've seen the first one.
I have seen the first one.
Okay. Do you like the first one?
I do.
Okay, good. So I really enjoyed the first one as well, um, and it was so much fun because it's Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool. It's great. It's fantastic, and I love fourth wall breaks all the time. So that was a very good mesh of things that checked a lot of boxes for me. Um, the second one, there will be spoilers because Zach does not care. People in the world, I'm going to do some
Five, four,
little
three,
bit,
two, one. Okay.
little bit of spoils. I'm not gonna go super into it because Devin's probably gonna mention it as well on the Say Report, or Say Report. Is there a the for Say Report, or is it just Say Report?
Theirs is the.
It is the, and we are
Yeah.
just Say Report Junior.
I guess. Sure.
Anyways, plug for the Say Report. It is our older siblings. I almost said sisters again. It is our older
It is
siblings
the older sister podcast,
basically doing the same thing that we're doing, but they've known each other for 12 years, right? 12,
something like
12,
that.
something
Probably
like that.
13 at this point. They've been doing
Yeah,
the show for a while.
yeah. So anyways, so Deadpool. So I enjoyed it for what it was. I saw it with Devin and our mom, and Devin and our mom didn't like it. They didn't love it. They didn't, you know. I could feel an energy because I was sitting next to Devin. It's very funny because we see movies with each other so often that we know when the other
You
one
can
is
tell
just
in the
we just know that the other one is like having none of this. So like there's a point in the movie where I just look over at Devin and I'm like, "Yep, he's done. He's done with this." And I knew it was going to happen. And I completely I completely understand why they don't like it. It's because they're Deadpool, like the first Deadpool, the jokes felt natural in a way. And they weren't like overdone. A joke would happen, it would land, or it wouldn't land, and it would continue. I haven't seen it in a while, but that's at least my memory of it.
but at least
Um,
it flowed. It flowed in a
exactly,
way that worked,
exactly.
right?
And it continued. It just continued to go. You know, this one there are a few jokes that are like 20 minutes long, and it's like, okay, guys. Like, you already have your fan group. You already have your fan base. You don't need to reel them in with these 20-minute long jokes. Um, One of which is, again, this is a spoiler. He gets chopped in half, and much to the similarity of the tiny hand in the first movie,
Right.
he is now growing baby feet, and with that, a baby penis.
Ah.
So there's like it's probably 20. It's probably not 20 minutes, but it's about 15 minutes.
It feels like 20
It
minutes.
feels like 20 minutes. It's like a 15 to 20 minute sequence of them making jokes about it. And it's like that they wrote that joke and then built the scene around it pretty much.
Right.
And it's like, oh, okay. That's problematic because you have a good story going here. You don't need this. And I really like the story. The story was crazy. Pretty much. I like feel bad spoiling it for you, but like I know you like you're gonna see it anyways.
I'm gonna see it eventually. Yeah, it's just not playing in town, so it's like my options to go out and see it eventually are slimmer.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It's just like it basically deals with the death aspect of Deadpool and how he can't really die, but other people can die around him. People who he cares about, people who he like has known for a while, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's just that whole part is very cool. The characters that show up are fantastic. Domino is fantastic.
that is all I've heard nothing but great things about her.
She's the best part. She really is. And I remember like as soon as I saw the trailer, for some reason certain aspects of X-Men have stuck in my brain. The X-Men are my favorite group of superheroes. They have been since I was a kid. I never cared about the Avengers. It was always X-Men. Because they had the first movies, just like Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man and X-Men were really the first superhero movies for me, you know? So like Domino, I see this woman in the Deadpool 2 trailers who is acting like Domino and has the birthmark, and it's like, "Oh, that's Domino." And I like and I asked Devin, I'm like, "That's supposed to be Domino, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I'm like, "How did I know that? How did Domino stick in my head when I never read comics? I just knew generally about X-Men." Like, so it's crazy what sticks in my brain about the X-Men. Like, yes. But she's legitimately the best part of that movie. I want a Domino solo movie so bad. Because
I'd be down with that.
yeah,
I'd be cool with that.
yep. It's so good. And like like that joke, even that joke kind of goes on a little long, where they're debating whether or not luck is a
Is a
superpower.
right.
And again, it's like a 20-minute joke where it's like, come on, guys, we get it. Like, we get it that you two are going to be basically best friends. Let's move on.
Yeah, that sounds like, especially because the first one had been written and directed by uh, a guy who had been trying to make that movie. I mean, Ryan Reynolds as well had been behind it, but like
Mm.
they had been trying to make that movie for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That entire sequence with the bullets counting down where he jumps into the SUV and all that was the short film that they made to pitch the Deadpool movie, like
Exactly.
they had made years ago. And so like bringing in a new team for this one, I'm not surprised that it feels a little bit more forced in that way,
Mm.
because like it's people who are like coming in now and going like, oh, okay, so we know what was funny about Deadpool, don't worry about it, and not having that same passion behind it.
Mm-hmm.
That really is what made the first one really work.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, overall, I enjoyed it. I liked it for what it was, but there are those moments where it's like, we could have done without that. And we could have, moved away from that. We didn't have to extend that long. I think the first Deadpool is better. I will say, like, it's not a strong sequel, but yeah, it's enjoyable. I understand why people aren't liking it though. So.
I mean, the most perfect sequel ever was Wayne's World 2, and we're never going to get anything better than that. So,
No,
you're
unfortunately.
never, you're never going to get better than
I've
you're never
never
going to get
seen
better
it.
than
I've
you're going to
never
get
seen
better than Jim Morrison in the desert, uh, teaching teaching them that they have to put on a bad version of Woodstock.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I've actually never seen Wayne's World or the second one or
oh
anything.
my
Yeah, no.
God, oh,
I've
oh,
seen clips of it and I've watched
I
scenes
mean,
here and
that
there.
movie is the movies are a series of clips. Like,
Yeah, that's
let's
true.
be fair. There's like a very thin story going between them.
What I've seen, I really love.
Uh,
There are times where Devin will call me Garth, and it's like, okay.
oh man.
But yeah, so I mean, end on a high note. That Deadpool was enjoyable
I
for
did.
me.
I'll give you a little bit of funny trivia. Speaking of X-Men,
Ooh,
and
yay!
that. So I have been watching Smallville,
Okay.
which get into someday because like I've got thoughts on Superman. I've decided. I didn't think I did, but I do. I went from not thinking a lot about about Superman to thinking a lot about it because I spend a lot of time watching Smallville
There
now.
we go.
But the X Mansion
Yes.
and Lex Luthor's mansion and Oliver Queen's mansion from Arrow are all the same building because they are all filmed in Vancouver. And there's apparently one mansion in Vancouver. And so every one of those
That's
for
amazing.
20 years, for 20 years, this one building has been used as across two different comic book universes as their as like the go-to mansion. And
That's
they just like
beautiful.
set dress the rooms a little bit differently. Like
Oh my god, that's
uh
great. That's great. There could be a theory written. Oh,
that it's
speaking of theories that could be
ooh,
written about interconnecting movies, I am going to have to get into on one day of this podcast my vampire cinema theory.
ooh.
Yeah, it's a doozy. Spoilers: Max from Fury Road is a vampire.
Interesting. Interesting theory. Spends a lot of time in the sun, so he's gonna have to come from the Blade universe.
Let me tell you.
Just saying.
I know it's a doozy.
It's like, oh no, I've thought about this. Don't worry, I've got rules for this.
It is a doozy of a theory.
Oh,
It's
oh,
not perfect, but it's fun. It is fun.
oh,
So
man.
look forward to that, my friend.
Oh, I do. Oh, well, that's great. Starting with episode 10, we're gonna start getting to the really esoteric crap that we really like. That's
Yay!
great. This is it. 9 episodes of getting to know each other. Now it's 10. Now 10 on is like, okay, now here's the weird stuff.
Here's what we probably, we had our memory lane episode doing a little callback. These are the other things that should have just stayed hidden.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, you know what? We don't have a Brendan Fraser month yet, so right now
That's
E3 is our
that's
Brendan Fraser month.
that's true.
Like,
That is true.
uh,
It is Brendan Fraser.
it's I don't have anything to say
Oh
other than
my god.
Brendan Fraser deserves all the love he gets. He's
Yes,
a great man.
he really
Uh,
is. Yeah.
okay. That being said, now that we're planning future episodes on the air, I think it's time to call it.
Yes,
Um,
true.
this has been Say Report Jr. I have been Zach Sarowick. You can follow me on Twitter at Zerwisky.
And I am Dale Decker. I never understood that. I have been.
And will continue to be
And
until the end of time,
time.
or at least, well,
Or until I change my name. No. I'm not.
I'm glad you went there because I was going to say until I die, which is like way
Oh!
more morbid.
I'm not going to change my name, though. I really like my name because my name is Dale Decker. That was a good segue, even though I already said my name. You can follow me on Twitter at Dale's Brain. And you can follow the show at Say Report Jr.
We're very, excited for episode 10 coming up. E3's coming up, all of our stuff. So stick around. Uh,
Woohoo!
Somehow we're going to figure out some way to get audience participation in this thing. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm working on it.
Yeah,
But
that's going to be
that
fun.
requires you to follow us on Twitter so we can do it.
Exactly.
So again, at Say Report Jr. I think that's it. So let's throw it. Yeah, let's throw it to Liz.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Say Report with your hosts Dale Decker and Zach Sarowick. Please follow the guys on Twitter and Facebook by searching for the Say Report, and you can always subscribe on your podcast channel so this is delivered straight to you and you can enjoy it every week. With apologies to your mother, we'll see you next time.